Good morning, and thank you for joining us this morning. I am Alero Edu, glad to be with you this lovely Saturday.
I am Kaidi Akintemi. It's a pleasure to be back.
Yes,
on this set.
Both of us are back.
Yes.
We were AWOL last weekend,
Yes.
but thankfully we're both back now, and the show is moving on as usual.
Absolutely, yes.
Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back, you too.
It's not winter, so we can't ask if you brought any snow back.
No snow, just it was cooler.
Betty happened in your absence.
Absolutely, and so in fact, I tweeted a few times that I'm so sad that I'm missing all of this action. I was watching from London, and it was good to see some of the things that people were saying, and it was good to hear the words, and it's quite encouraging. And then I think it was on Thursday when they did the summation of the entire summit. And they were talking about the things that people had said and the recommendations. And I thought, I just hope that most of these things will be brought to fruition. It will happen. I'm trusting that His Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, being the man that loves action, Governor Fashola will make it happen. The only thing is, there are some of those recommendations that are beyond him. And it lies in the hand of the federal government of the country.
I've always said that that we are where we are is not because we don't have ideas. It's not because we don't know what to do.
Yeah.
For reasons best known to us, we just decide not to do them. Okay, there's this sharp focus on power. It's as if we didn't know that if we had power, we will have more industries, our GDP will rise, employment will go up. It's as if we didn't know. Well, of course, we know all those things.
Yeah, we do.
But what are we doing about getting power? We hear that people are sabotaging equipment. Who is so stupid? There should be death penalties for people who do things like that. Because it's dragging an entire nation back, almost dragging an entire nation down.
Well, I guess in some countries where they know what they want, they know that...
Are you saying we don't know what we want?
Do we?
We do know.
Really?
Yes.
And it's taking us how many years?
We want water. We want good roads. We want a better life.
Okay, maybe
we are among the poorest nations in the world.
Redefine what I'm saying, because knowing what you want is one thing. Knowing how to get there
is another entirely. So say what you mean. Yes. We do know what we want.
But we don't act like we know. People who know what they want, they go out and get it.
Yeah.
When you want something, you go out, you make it happen.
Kayode,
the Governor of Lagos State knows what he wants.
Because you know you want power at all cost. If there's no water, you sink a borehole.
Yeah. And then if there's no air, you just make it happen.
You roast. Well, so much for Betty.
Betty's been good, and we're glad that that happened, and we're believing that all the recommendations will be taken care of by the state government, and the ones that will lie in the hand of the federal government, we will appeal. And interestingly enough, I did not see much of federal government representation or presence at that summit. It must be mentioned. And I was quite surprised that the Minister of Power was not there, Prof. Nebo, and other people in government that you would expect will be part of this, because this is how critical this is to our capital or business capital in Nigeria. Our business capital in Nigeria should be the one that we focus on and make sure that it happens, because it is from here that a lot of things will happen. So,
another thing that happened in your absence was the rebasing of Nigeria's GDP, and that is making big news. Even though, when you ask people out there what they think about all this, they say, well, they still say we're among the poorest nations in the world. So what is the meaning? We have an economy bigger than South Africa's. Yeah, big deal. I'm still a poor man. I'm still living on under $1 a day. So what does this mean for me? How does it affect me?
You know, I flew in this morning. I flew in this morning, and I happened to be sitting very close to a lady who is from St. Lucia and lives in London, and we were talking about the rebasing of the Nigerian economy, and also, no, we were talking more about St. Lucia and the Caribbean and the kind of things that are available and so on. And I was saying, but it's only, what's the size of St. Lucia? Possibly Mushin plus Ikeja put together.
Exactly.
And the population, 100 and something thousand. And they're saying it is not about the size. Whatever you have, what do you do with it? Yeah. If you're chairman of Mushin local government, what do you do with it? Assume you're the president of the Federal Republic of Mushin. What do you do with it? It is not about the size. So the size of Nigeria is inconsequential in terms of what we do with that size. Rebasing of our economy is, I think it was, I was watching during the course of the week when I think it was Bismarck Rouhani on Business Morning. During the course of this week when Harriet was interviewing him, and he said, well, rebasing is good, but it is vanity to some extent. In terms of economic reality, it is vanity. It doesn't really add anything to us. It doesn't add anything to us.
But my thoughts begin with, I mean, if they're saying we're doing that kind of volume, or our economy is worth that much, and we achieved that without power, imagine where we would be if we had power. So I keep going back to power because for me, it looks like power is what is going to just, it's the key that's going to just open the door for this nation. And yet we're trifling with it. We don't seem to, I mean, those in charge don't just seem to understand how important that is to Nigeria as a country.
I think some of them will tell you they do. Someone of the quality and caliber of Professor Nebo will tell you that they know how important this is. They know how critical this is to our economic well-being. Everything to do with our nation, they know. But making it happen just seemed like a drag. God help us.
And talking about that, I don't know if you were here when the deadline was given to the Gencos and the Discos?
I think we will definitely have to get the prof himself to come and explain this, and I'm hoping that either next week or week after, Professor Chinedu Nebo will come on Sunrise on Saturday to explain to us what does that mean.
It means that if no improvement is seen by a certain date, there'll be penalties.
There cannot be penalties.
Why shouldn't there be penalties?
Because you allow people to run into something that is new and you want them to grow it, and you have infrastructure deficiency to the nth amount, and you then expect them to hit the ground running as if they've got magic wands. I'm not speaking for any of them, but I have had a chat with quite a few people in that sector, and I've also had a chat with people in government, and the amount of deficiency in transmission and generation is such that you cannot just get in there and make it happen unless you have a magic wand.
Are you telling me that they did not know what they were buying? You can't tell me that.
I'll give you an example. Sahara Energy owns Sahara Power, and I spoke with Tony Cole, who's the MD, when we were in Davos, and he said the best you can expect, this is going to take at least 5 years for things to get better.
Well, for things to begin
to get better. So you're talking about 5 years of hard work, of changing a lot of things, of getting to a point where you say that gas is now really working, the pipelines are not vandalized every day, the amount of gas that is being sent into the Gencos infrastructure is such that, yes, it is good, it is consistent, and they have it. And when they now send that out through the transcos, which is owned by government, but run by private sector, the IPP, they also, their infrastructure will work, and then the grid lines across the nation will work. And when that works, then you have electricity in your homes.
Thank you for the very bad news.
That is the good news.
But all I can say to you is you just arrived this morning. Welcome to the dark ages in the 21st century. That's all I will say to you. Now, the menu.
Yes, the menu this morning, the things
Naturally,
we're looking at.
We're going to start with the GDP rebasing and poverty alleviation.
And immediately after that, Channels Television, once again, glad and delighted to say that we're the host broadcaster for the World Economic Forum Africa, and that forms part of the reason we definitely must look at the World Economic Forum Africa this morning to look at inclusive growth and job creation.
Inclusive growth. And
yes,
we have talked about that so much, but we can never stop talking about it because there's so many facets to it.
Yes.
So we will keep talking about the World Economic Forum. And immediately after that, we'll have a special guest in the studio, our guest of the week. And all I will tell you is that he used to be a governor in the eastern part of Nigeria.
And
big clue, isn't it?
It's a big, he used to be. They will have to guess and guess and guess. But yeah, up till very recently.
Till very recently. Now you know who. Now you know who the guest is.
You have an idea. Some people still wouldn't know, but you have an idea. And then after that, we've all heard about the fact that Microsoft ends XP support. What's the implication? If you don't know what will happen to your system, will it come crashing or not? We'll talk about it.
Okay, and we shall close with the Artist of the Week segment, as is normal on Sunrise on Saturday. So that's our lineup for today. Just quickly grab your cup of tea, come back and join us as we start the program.